The trouble began on a Wednesday morning at Mama Ngozi's food store, where the puff-puff was golden, the gossip was scalding, and Femi's brain cells apparently went on strike. Femi had been eyeing Tola for 3 months, 3 whole months of accidentally appearing wherever she was, of suddenly developing a passionate interest in buying thread at her father's shop — he now owned 17 spools he didn't need — and of asking his little sister increasingly obvious questions like, what do you think Tola likes in a man? His friends had nicknamed him Shakespeare without the courage, and honestly, they weren't wrong. That morning, as Femi rounded the corner to the village square, he saw her, Tola, standing at Mama Ngozi's stall in a blue wrapper that made his heart do backflips. The morning sun was doing that thing where it made her glow like she was in a Nollywood movie. And Femi's remaining brain cell said, "Today is the day, my brother."
"Let me pay for that," Femi announced, striding forward with the confidence of a man who had not checked his pocket first. Tola looked up, one perfectly shaped eyebrow rising to her hairline. "Sorry?" "Your puff-puff, I'll buy it." Femi reached into his pocket with a flourish that would have made a magician proud, fully expecting to pull out crisp naira notes. What he pulled out instead was 70 naira in crumpled bills, 2 bottle caps, and a stick of chewing gum that had seen better days. The puff-puff was 50 naira each. Tola had ordered 3. Even Femi's mathematics could handle this tragedy. Mama Ngozi, who had been watching this disaster unfold with the glee of someone who had already mentally composed the headline for the village news network, smiled like a cat that had caught a very stupid mouse. "Ah, Femi, big man, so you won't buy puff-puff for this fine girl?" A small crowd had started to gather, because in a Nigerian village, the moment someone's embarrassment begins, it's like everyone has a GPS tracker that alerts them. Free entertainment at Mama Ngozi's store. Arrival time immediately.
"Yes," Femi said, his voice somehow getting higher. "Yes, I'm buying it." "Wonderful!" Mama Ngozi clapped her hands. "That will be 150 naira. Femi placed his 70 naira on the counter like a man placing his dignity in a coffin. The silence was deafening. Then someone in the crowd, it sounded like Babatunde, whispered loudly, Is this boy alright?" "Really, I can pay for myself," Tola started. But Femi's pride had entered the chat, and pride is a terrible financial advisor. No, Femi held up his hand like he was stopping traffic. "Mama Ngozi, you know me. I'm good for it. Put it on my tab." "Your tab?" Mama Ngozi's eyes lit up like Christmas had come early. "Che, you want to open tab with me? Oh, this is wonderful. Nobody has opened tab with me since that useless Chidi, and that boy still owes me money from 2019. "I'll pay you this weekend." Femi was sweating now. The crowd had grown to at least 15 people. A chicken had even stopped to watch.
With interest, Mama Ngozi pulled out a notebook that looked like it had survived 2 world wars. "Let me write this down properly. Femi Adeleke, son of that fine carpenter, owes me 150 naira for trying to impress Tola Okonkwo with money he does not have. Should I add poor planning or just leave it like that?" "Please, just write the amount," Femi begged. Tola was shaking with silent laughter, her hand over her mouth. "You really don't have to." "Too late," Mama Ngozi announced to the growing crowd. "It is written. Femi, your deadline is Saturday. If you don't pay, I will come to your father's workshop and tell him everything, including the part where you counted 70 naira 3 times, like it will magically become 150. "I didn't count it 3 times. "Yes, you did. We all saw you." The crowd nodded in agreement. Even the chicken looked judgmental. Femi grabbed Tola's puff-puff like he was salvaging what remained of his dignity. Spoiler, there was none left, and handed it to her. "Here, enjoy. They are the finest puff-puff in the village." They are the only puff-puff in the village, Mama Ngozi corrected. But thank you for the advertising. As Femi tried to escape, Tola's voice stopped him. Wait! He turned, expecting mockery, deserving mockery. Instead, she was smiling, not the polite smile you give to crazy people, a real smile. That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen anyone do. I know.
You have 70 naira and you try to buy 150 naira worth of food. In my defense, I didn't check first. That's not a defense. That's just admitting you are bad at planning. But her eyes were sparkling. Walk with me. Femi blinked. What? Walk with me. You just went into debt for me. The least I can do is let you walk me home. She paused. Unless you were planning to go into more debt, because I should warn you, my father's compound is past Babatunde's shop and he sells the best suya. I'd hate for you to offer to buy me some and discover you only have bottle caps. Behind them, the crowd erupted in laughter. Femi's face could have fried akara, but he walked with her anyway. By noon, the story had spread through the village like wildfire. By 2 p.m., it had been exaggerated into a legend. By evening, when Femi got home, his mother was waiting with her arms crossed and the expression that every African mother has mastered, the one that says, I brought you into this world and I'm calculating if it was worth it. Femi, yes, Mama. I hear you are buying puff-puff with imaginary money now. It wasn't imaginary, I just didn't have enough of it. His father looked up from his newspaper. The boy bought puff-puff on credit. He said it the way someone might say, the boy joined a circus. Not just credit, his mother continued, warming to her topic like a preacher at a sermon. Credit for Chief Okonkwo's daughter. Chief Okonkwo, the same Chief Okonkwo who once made a man return a chicken because it coughed wrong. You think that man will let his daughter marry a puff-puff debtor? Who said anything about marriage? Femi squeaked. The whole village is saying it. Mrs. Adeyemi stopped me at the market to ask when you'll be paying bride price. I didn't even know you were courting the girl. I had to hear about my son's love life from a woman whose goat ate my cassava last year.
Femi's father folded his newspaper with the air of a man about to deliver wisdom. Son, let me tell you something. When I was courting your mother, you know what I did? Please, not this story again, his mother started. I checked my pocket first, his father thundered. Basic, simple, common sense. You see a fine girl, you want to impress her, you check your pocket. Your father is right, his mother added. Although when he was courting me, he once tried to impress me by carrying a bag of rice on his head for 2 miles. He fell in the mud, but at least he had the rice money. I didn't fall, I slipped. You fell, Adeleke. You fell and the rice scattered, and 3 chickens ate it before you could get up. Femi watched his parents argue about 30-year-old rice and wondered if this is what his future with Tola would look like. Weirdly, the thought made him smile. The next morning, Femi borrowed money from his friend Tunde, who charged him an apple as interest because he needs to teach you about financial responsibility, and went to pay Mama Ngozi. The store was suspiciously crowded for 8 a.m. The debtor returns, Mama Ngozi announced like a town crier.
Please, can we just do this quietly? Femi whispered. Quietly? You want to pay your love debt quietly? She turned to the crowd. This boy wants privacy, as if the whole village didn't watch him count 70 naira yesterday. Femi slapped 200 naira on the counter. Keep the change, please. I'm begging you. Mama Ngozi picked up the money, kissed it, and tucked it into her wrapper. You see? This is how you impress a girl, with actual money, not with hope and bottle caps. Are we done? Not yet. I need to update my records. She opened her ancient notebook. Let's see. Femi has paid his puff-puff debt plus 50 naira for the emotional trauma he caused me by being terrible at mathematics. 50 naira for emotional trauma? You think watching you embarrass yourself was easy for me? I nearly cried. That's what 15 naira. Femi was about to argue when he heard a familiar laugh. He turned and there was Tola holding a small basket covered with cloth. I thought I'd find you here, she said, her smile doing things to his heartbeat that were probably not medically safe. You were looking for me? Well, after yesterday's performance, I figured you'd be here early trying to clear your name. She handed him the basket. Here. Inside were 3 pieces of puffpuff, still warm, smelling like heaven. You made these? I make puffpuff every morning. I was actually going to Mama Ngozi's yesterday to compare mine with hers, to see whose was better. But then you happened. The crowd gasped collectively like they were watching a Nollywood movie and the villain had just been revealed.
Mama Ngozi clutched her chest. You mean you didn't even need to buy my puff-puff? I mean, I was going to buy some for comparison. But you let him go into debt for puff-puff you didn't need? Mama Ngozi looked at Femi. My brother, this girl is dangerous. She let you suffer. I tried to stop him, Tola protested, but she was laughing. He was very determined to be a gentleman. I was very determined to be stupid, Femi corrected, biting into her puff-puff. It was perfect. Crispy outside, fluffy inside, with just the right sweetness. Wait, this is amazing. Better than mine? Mama Ngozi asked, suddenly competitive. Tola and Femi exchanged glances. Some questions they both realized had no safe answer. They're different, Femi said diplomatically. Coward, Mama Ngozi muttered, but she was smiling. Tola touched his arm gently. My father is having a small gathering this Saturday, just family and close friends. You should come. The crowd inhaled sharply. An invitation to Chief Okonkwo's house was serious business. Are you sure? Very sure. But Femi, she leaned in closer. Check your pocket before you come. My father once threw a man out for bringing a gift that cost less than the transportation to his house. She's joking, right? Femi asked Mama Ngozi after Tola left. About Chief Okonkwo? That man once returned a whole cow because he didn't like the way it looked at him. You better check your pocket, your bank account, and your spiritual standing before you enter that compound. Saturday arrived like a judgment day. Femi changed outfits 7 times. His mother finally threatened to lock him out if he didn't leave, and his father contributed one piece of advice. Remember, check your pocket. Chief Okonkwo's compound was intimidating. High walls, a massive gate, and a security guard who looked like he bench-pressed Okada riders for fun. I was invited, Femi stammered. Femi? The guard's stern face cracked into a grin. Ah, the puff-puff debtor. Come in. The whole compound has been waiting to see you. This, Femi realized, was a mistake. The compound was full of people, and they all turned to look at him when he entered. Every single one. That's him, someone shouted. The boy who bought puff-puff with 70 naira. Femi wanted to die. Just melt into the ground and become one with the earth. Then Tola appeared, materializing like an angel in a yellow dress, and suddenly dying seemed less appealing. You came! She looked genuinely happy, which helped with the whole not dying of embarrassment thing. I almost didn't. I stood outside for 20 minutes practicing how to walk. And how did that go? I walked into your gate. Your security guard saw everything. He laughed for 5 minutes. Well, you're here now. She leaned her arm through his, which made several aunties gasp and start whispering frantically. Come, let me introduce you to my father before you lose your nerve. Too late, Nerve has left the building. Chief Okonkwo was a large man, not fat, large. The kind of large that made you reassess your life choices. He sat in a massive chair that looked like a throne, wearing traditional attire that probably cost more than Femi's entire wardrobe. Papa, this is Femi, Tola said cheerfully, like she wasn't introducing a poor carpenter's son to a man who probably had people who had people.
The chief looked Femi up and down slowly. Very slowly, the kind of slow that made you want to confess to crimes you didn't commit. So, the chief finally rumbled, his voice like thunder deciding whether to reign or not. You are the one who bought my daughter Puff with money he didn't have. Yes, sir. No, sir. I had money, just not enough money, which in retrospect is the same as not having money. So yes, sir, you are correct, sir. Someone in the crowd snickered. Femi wanted to find them and apologize for being entertainment. The chief's face remained unreadable. My daughter tells me you are Adeleke's son, the carpenter. Yes, sir. Your father is a good man, honest, made me a cabinet once, still works perfectly. A pause that lasted approximately 7 years. But being a good man's son doesn't make you a good man. What makes you a good man? Femi's mouth went dry. This was a test, a very important test, the kind of test where the wrong answer meant never seeing Tola again. I don't know if I'm a good man, sir, but I'm trying to be. I work hard. I'm learning my father's trade. I respect my elders. And he glanced at Tola, who was watching him with an expression he couldn't quite read. I make very poor financial decisions when I'm trying to impress your daughter, but my heart is in the right place, even if my mathematics isn't. The silence that followed could have been cut with a knife.
Then Chief Okonkwo laughed, actually laughed, a deep booming sound that made everyone jump. At least you are honest, better than the last boy who came here claiming he was a successful businessman. Turned out he sold phone cards at the motor park. The chief stood up and Femi suddenly understood how mountains felt. I like you, Femi. You are stupid but honest. That's better than smart and deceitful. Thank you. Femi wasn't sure if he'd been complimented or insulted. Maybe both. But let me tell you something. The chief's hand landed on Femi's shoulder like a bag of cement. That girl is my only daughter, my treasure, you understand? If you hurt her, I won't kill you. That will be too easy. I will make you build me a fence, a long fence around my entire farm with a handsaw in July. Everyone who knew Nigerian weather gasped. Building anything in July was torture. I understand, sir. Good. Now go eat. My daughter made puff. Try not to go into debt eating it. The party relaxed after that. Femi ate, checking 3 times that the food was free. Drank juice because he wasn't stupid enough to drink alcohol at Chief Okonkwo's house. And talked with Tola whenever she wasn't being pulled away by relatives who wanted to interrogate her about this carpenter's son. As the sun set, Tola found him sitting under a mango tree, trying to process the fact that he hadn't been thrown out. You survived, she said, sitting beside him. Barely. Your father threatened me with fence building. He threatens everyone with fence building. Last year, he threatened the pastor with it. The pastor has a PhD. That's not reassuring.
It should be. It means he's treating you like someone he might actually accept. She bumped his shoulder with hers. So, was it worth it? The puff debt, the embarrassment, meeting my terrifying father? Femi looked at her, really looked at her smile, at the way the setting sun caught her eyes, at how comfortable she seemed sitting next to him under a mango tree. Ask me again in 50 years, he said, but I think probably yes. 50 years? That's very presumptuous, Femi Adeleke. I'm very presumptuous. I once tried to buy 150 naira worth of puff with 70 naira. Presumption is clearly my thing. She laughed, and the sound made everything, the debt, the embarrassment, the terrifying chief, worth it. 3 years later, the wedding was everything a village wedding should be. Loud, chaotic, full of food, and attended by people who definitely weren't invited but showed up anyway.
Mama Ngozi had catered, naturally. Her puff-puff table had a sign. The puff-puff that started it all, still causing death since 2022. I can't believe you put that sign up, Femi said, adjusting his agbada for the 1000th time. Are you kidding? This is my legacy. People will come from other villages to buy my puff-puff now. The matchmaking puff-puff. I should trademark it. Chief Okonkwo approached, looking regal in his own traditional attire. Femi? Yes, sir. Even married, Femi still felt nervous around his father-in-law.
You know, when you first came to my house with your 70 naira story, I thought my daughter had lost her mind. Sir, but you've proven me wrong. You work hard, you opened your own workshop, you treat my daughter well. He paused. You checked your pocket before paying the bride price, which showed tremendous growth. Thank you, sir. But if you ever, and I mean ever, buy anything on credit again, I still have that farm that needs fencing. Understood, sir. Tola appeared in her wedding dress, looking like she'd stepped out of a dream. Papa, stop threatening my husband. I'm not threatening, I'm providing guidance. You are threatening. You've threatened him 17 times today. I counted. Only 17? I'm getting soft in my old age. As the party continued, Femi and Tola found a quiet moment together. Well, as quiet as a Nigerian wedding could be, there were still 300 people dancing to Shakiti Bobo nearby. Do you remember what you said under the mango tree? Tola asked. That I should ask you in 50 years if it was worth it? I remember. Well, we're 3 years in. How's it looking so far? Femi pulled her close, not caring that half the village was probably watching and taking notes for future gossip. Definitely worth it. Best 70 naira I never actually had. You are never going to let that go, are you? Are you kidding? It's our origin story. It's romantic. It's embarrassing. It's romantically embarrassing. There's a difference. She kissed him, and somewhere in the crowd, Mama Ngozi yelled, "That's the power of good puff-puff." And really, who could argue with that? Years later, when their children asked how Mama and Papa met, Femi would tell the story, complete with dramatic reenactment of the pocket-checking scene. Tola would roll her eyes and add the part he conveniently left out, like how he walked into a wall. Their children would laugh and call Papa silly. But they'd also learn something important, that love doesn't start with perfection. It starts with trying, even when you fail spectacularly. It starts with being brave enough to look foolish. It starts with 70 naira and the confidence of a man who definitely should have checked his pocket first. And sometimes, if you are very lucky, it starts with puff-puff.